It's been a busy month. We had my daughters turned 16. They had a surprise birthday party. My brother and his family came to visit. And then just recently, my parents were here visiting, and several other things in between all of that. So haven't had much time for getting the live stream going. And I haven't made a whole lot of videos. I've released a couple. So we'll have more coming. I guess one of the challenging challenges I've faced is the storage, digital storage, and finding a good way to get those videos from a camera to a computer and upload it and things like that. So tonight we're going to talk about a 2025. Okay, hold on just a second. I got my phone. I need to turn that off. 2025 uh, wish list. So, being it is a wish list, probably not going to get everything or maybe even half of it, but this is just things that if I was to create a wish list of, I'm whether I'm seriously looking at getting one of these items or someday I would. These are the things I'd be looking at for this year. Some of these are newer items. Some of them are not. And everybody's different, so I thought you might like to see what I'm interested in, and I definitely like to see what you're interested in. So um, whether you're watching live or on the replay, put in the comments. Like to hear what you're looking at as far as gear, what you're excited about for new gear that is either out right now or coming out this year. There's a few items we haven't seen that are supposed to come out soon. So let's get down to it and talk about the things I'm looking at and why. Um, I'm looking at a base station radio. So I have my older Yaesu 990, which is oh at least 20 years old, maybe even closer to 30. And it's been a good radio for what it does, but it is lacking some capabilities. Um, I'm going to grab the camera and then let you have a look at it and just talk about it for a minute. So hopefully this will stay connected. And all right, so there it is. Hopefully I can get it to focus. So this was my first radio. This was a good radio for a couple of reasons. Number one, it has an internal power supply. Let me back up a little more. Maybe it'll focus better. So internal power supplies. So that's just one more thing you don't need to purchase when you're just starting out. It's nice to keep it simple. Another thing that's nice is it has a very good tuner. This radio will tune. Um, I think I've done stuff close to 10 to 1 and still been able to tune it. Obviously, not really efficient at that rate, but it will do it. So that was a nice thing. Again, a really good tuner and an internal power supply. Pretty much hook up a coax and antenna, and you're on the air. The things that it's lacking is there's no 6 meters on this radio, and it's something maybe wouldn't be using every day, but it's something that would be fun to use when the band is open. I'd like to have that capability. The other thing, so keyer is right here. The keyer was out on this radio, and the seller told me that when I purchased it. At the time, I wasn't interested in CW, so I could care less at that point when I bought it. But that is another thing that's limited. So either I would have to use an external keyer or run the straight key, which is what I've done, or a bug if we have one. I don't have one yet, but we'll talk about that later. So when I want to use my paddle, I end up using the K2, which I really like this radio, especially in the field. It's just about perfect for what I want to do. But it is a 10-watt radio, so when I'm looking to use more power, um, I've got to use this rig. And I do find, I mean, I've done a lot of time on a straight key. I don't really mind it, but there are times I'd like to be able to use the paddle. So let me get the camera back up here, and I'll get in front of the computer and we'll talk about um, what radios I might be interested in. So I'm going to share my screen. The first two would be the Yaesu, either the 710 or the FTDX10. 710, a little cheaper, maybe a little smaller, um, a little more field friendly. Not that you can't take the FTDX10 out with you, but there is a field version for a reason, and pretty much means you don't get the extra speaker. But let's just take a look at that. I'm going to share the screen. You just bear with me for a second and see how that looks. All right. Yeah. So 710 here, you're looking at 975 to 1100. Not sure if I would go. I think the speaker would be a nice option. Again, this is a radio that I'm not going to be taking in the field all of the time, but definitely will be. There will be times where I either want the extra power or take my son Levi with me, and he's not going to do CW. He's going to want to do sideband, so that would be nice for that. Or if ever someday I get into digital modes or want to do something different, that may be something that I'd be looking at. Some of the pros for something like this, very good ratings on the receiver. And it is, I don't know, I've read a fair amount of feedback on it. It is kind of a like it or hate it. There are some people that dislike the menu and whatever. And I understand that. Having started out on an older radio with buttons and knobs, I do like that just for a reason that buttons and knobs are instant. They don't move. They're physically there. You can grab, push the button. And menus, of course, we'll learn to use the menus, and some people like that. Some people dislike that. But I'd be willing to do this, and I think another reason that it might be intriguing is right here. You can have a computer monitor and be able to see this in a much larger view, and also you can use a mouse to select these things, so you could just use your mouse instead of reaching over to the radio itself. And from there, let's move on to one of the other radios I would consider. Let me see where that would be. The Kenwood 590. Right here. Okay, so this is an older release, and it's been around for several years. Why this one? Again, it's supposed to have very good receiver and filtering capabilities. A lot of people really like that aspect. And going back to the button versus menu, I've seen some videos on how this all operates, and I think there's some good ideas there that, for instance, if you do a lot of band hopping, you push, go to 10 meters, hit it, it'll go there, and you go back to 20. And I think the way it works is you hit it once, it'll go back to whatever you used last. If you hit it again, say you're on CW, it would go to sideband or digital. So you can just, with the press of a button again, it'll go back to the other mode and probably to the frequency range you were at before. And I think there is, a fair amount of good options in here. And having cut my teeth with the older radio with the buttons, this might be a pretty feel like home, a pretty easy transition, and not to have to learn menus. And like I said, it's not that I'm unwilling to learn menus, but there are things that I'm used to and like about, the old button and knob setup. Um, I'll move on to the next one. And probably what I'm looking for is not here. So if we went to the used market, stop sharing this tab and go to a different one. Went to the used market, a couple of different ones I potentially would be looking at. So if this shows up, we should be looking at Nellcraft K3. So something like why a K3? Well, that was just recently replaced by the K4 with the waterfall display and a whole lot of other features, and really nice radio. Also much more expensive. But this one is you can get something like this about the same price range as the last one we looked at. 100 watts tuner, all the stuff like that. And from what I know, receivers and sub receivers, also a very good radio. And having the K2 and liking that so much, I'm assuming I would like this as well if I'm somewhat used to. I know all the functions and the setup won't be exactly the same, but they would at least be familiar. And I do like the fact with the Nellcraft radios, there are different modules and things that you can add on as you go. You could start with a pretty basic rig and add on as you feel the need, or as you can afford it, or your needs change or whatever. So that'd be another one I'd be thinking about. The last one I don't have a picture of. The last one would be some sort of, I'll just say about a 5-10-year-old contest type radio, or a bigger radio, similar in size to what I got now with the 990, but like one of the MP type Yaesus, or one of those class radios. You can find them in the same price range, and being there's some features I do like about this one. That might be something I'd look at. Now we'll move on to some antennas. This past year, I've had a lot of fun building antennas and testing and whatnot, and I'm planning to still do some of that. I guess the one that I would be most interested in, I've talked about before, would be getting a large loop set up at the house here. And I'm not sure if that would be delta or square, but it would be for 80 or 160, and all the way to 10 or 6 meters. I'm not sure exactly, but there'd be amount of collecting parts, I guess you'd say. And I may go that route, or if I want to purchase, I'll do a share screen again. I could go with something like this. And if I look at the price and all of that stuff, I probably could build it a little cheaper, but again, maybe not a whole lot. And being this would be all ready to go, that might be another option as well. But from what I hear, a lot of people that have these really like them, mostly because they're really low noise floor. And some of the comments here, obviously these people do really like it. So I'll get online. Another loop, again, this one, Chameleon, the T-Optical Delta loop. That's a pretty interesting antenna. Not sure on the price if I really would want to do that, but maybe I'd find one at a Hamfest or something. But that'd be another interesting one I might like to try out. Um, and then other types of random wires or end feds or something like that. I'm sure I'll be doing some more experimenting with that. And the next thing I put on, might be interested in, would be to build some type of a field QRP pack kit. You know, a small QRP transceiver, a light battery, everything lightweight. Mostly small and lightweight for something you can just throw in the vehicle if you're going somewhere. And if you can do it, the activation, you can do it. If not, you're not taking up a whole bunch of space. And I don't do a lot of like summits on the air stuff, but I may want to at some point. And the same thing with hiking. Like I've said many times on some of the videos, um, I don't typically walk very far. I usually do activations close, if not right directly from my van. So it's not been a high priority to have something like that, but it would be nice to have all of that in a very small package. So let's take a look at one of the ones I may be interested in here, and that would be the Mountain Topper, the newest version. And stay up late. I don't know if it goes on. I think it goes on in the morning, so that would be tomorrow morning. So what they're doing now, as far as I can tell, is they make X number or as many as they can, and then at the first of the month, they just put them all up on, and first come, first serve. So hopefully, if you really want one, you can be ready when it goes live and get one of these. But I never really was, Bs and 4Bs. I mean, they're good. A lot of people like them, but I'm like, yeah, that's kind of cool. It's small, but I didn't know some of the things that they can do and why it would be such a handy thing. So, especially with an end fed, 40 meter end fed, that would resonate, be usable on 40, 20, and 15. That's exactly the 3 bands that this radio uses. So that would definitely be part of the pack if I constructed one of them. And then here, I didn't know this, that, let's see, I'll scroll down here. As far as the keying, I think it's capacitive touch keying. Let me look at the features. Didn't see it there unless I just missed it. But that would be really cool not to need an extra paddle. Of course, I probably would bring some, and you just have to see how you like that. But I believe, by touching here and here, you can just use that rather than using keys. So yeah, that's really cool. And for the people that the reviews I've seen of people using them, just really like this radio. So that would definitely be in the running. Other ones, of the same ilk and size and everything, QRP Labs, there's several of them out there. I'm not going to name them all or attempt to, but a small radio like that, an end-fed half wave that I can tune multiple bands, and then some type of lightweight paddle or key of some type. That would be really interesting. I think that would be fun. And like I said, I probably started out with the one that would be first on the list would be getting a base station updated. And then lastly, let me take a look. I'm going to get rid of some of these tabs. Would be keys. So let's talk about keys for a minute. So right now, I've had the J37 straight key. I do have a CW Morse key. I don't think it's here in front of me. And then I have the let me see, the Bugatti Pearl. take the cover off. But I have a video on that if you want more about that. But that was the first precision key I purchased, and I've had no complaints with it. It's been really good. But like I said, something smaller for the feel would be nice. And we'll take camera again. Thanks to this guy right here. I got one of these cool stickers. Bet you can't guess where that came from. But anyway, that's from Forrest KI7QCF. And I enjoy his videos. He's a good guy. Always puts out interesting comments. And he's gotten into bugs now. He's really having a good time with them. And he's really spreading the message around on YouTube. So thanks for that, Forrest. And I'm going to be in the market to find a bug and try my hand at that. And like I said, I've done a lot of straight key. And that's good. And I'm working on continuing to get better. But, I mean, speed is a limitation for me. I was 14, 15 was, that was moving right along for me. Recently, in the past couple of weeks, I've been trying to push beyond that. And I may be 17, 18 with a little different technique, a little different setup of the key. But I would like to try a bug. So this is possibly one I would get. If y'all don't know about this, this guy's been building them for a while now, and they're pretty cool. He's got a YouTube page. If you type that in, you probably find his page, and he talks about them, and he builds these himself, and they're fairly reasonable. They work very good. They seem very easy to adjust, and these will slow down quite a bit. I mean, that's one of the things about bugs, like the more popular ones like the Vibraplex and some of the other ones you see all the time, is people are constantly trying to get them to slow down, adding weights or whatever. But this will come being able to do that right out of the box. Again, watch the website or find his YouTube channel. I don't know it offhand, but you can search it. I'm sure you'll find it. Or go, if you're not familiar with Forrest's channel, look up his channel. He's got a lot of good stuff about bugs too, and I'm sure you'll enjoy that. So I'm looking to add that. I've got some things I'm trying to sell, and hopefully come up with a few bugs to try that. The other thing that would help with is being this older radio doesn't have a keyer. The bug plug right in, no problem, don't need a keyer. So that'll be something I'm looking forward to. Again, like to hear what you're looking at this year, and what things you're excited about, what things you're looking into. So drop that in the comments. I think we're going to shut it down for tonight. Didn't want to go too long. We have a QSO scheduled with a code buddy, and we're trying to do regular QSOs every week or twice a week with a couple of different people. And again, I recommend that as far as getting better at conversational CW. It's nice to have a place and a person that you can get on the air with, and you can experiment a little bit. They know who you are, what you're trying to do, and like, okay, well, I need to work on this aspect, and then you work together, and sometimes just it's an enjoyable chat. Take it real slow, no pressure, and then maybe it's like, well, I'm trying to push my speed up on this or that, or I'm trying to improve my copy speed. I want you to send faster to get on the edge of what I'm comfortable at, and then you can both grow together. So I'll be heading out to do that. We'll have more videos coming up soon. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks everybody. You've seen yet another ham radio video. This is Jay, KQ4 DUX. Hope to see you on the air 7-3.